By a show of hands, who loves Tuesday? We do. DJ does. Welcome to the Wise Guys as we kick off the best night of the week. And it's a broken record. There's always so much going on. And here we are on another Tuesday and near the end of June, and we've got so much going on tonight. Something cool we haven't done before is going to go on tonight.
Yeah, we're not even going to tell you what it is until it is.
Yeah.
Right?
And then you'll know it is when it is. And
how about, we got folks already chiming in. Mark Axel, who's always with us every week. Best night of the week. I love that, Mark Axel. Ruthie, 5358. We do too. Thanks for being here. Curling guy is already in with us.
Nice.
On and on and on and on.
Our YouTube numbers are jumping.
Right. Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube. We will put the link in the chat today. Hit subscribe because it's free. And then once you hit subscribe, you click on the bell. You'll get notifications whenever we post something new or go live. So if we got, if all of a sudden we got highlights up that you can tap into, it'll give you a little reminder that there's highlights up or that the podcast is up.
And you know how we feel about free.
Right. If it's free, it's for me, and I'll take 3. That's our motto.
And
we stole that from Elder Sikahema, by the way.
What else is free is at ysguys.com. You can go there, subscribe, get our weekly email, which will send you highlights from tonight's show. That's absolutely free. And if you want to watch past interviews, listen to some of these names. Danny Ainge, Marie Osmond, Jimmer Fredette, Ty Detmer, Kyle Van Noy, Justin Enna, Jay Hill, Gennaro Guilford, Sione Puha, Kelly Papinga, Fessy Satakias, the whole staff, and others right here. They're waiting for you at ysguys.com.
Well, and in that queue will be Harvey Unga, who's going to come on with us. So we've almost got the entire coaching staff from the football squad.
We're slowly getting everybody in.
That's been on. And Brenda just said to me, when are you getting Kalani on? And I said, we'll try to get him preseason before they get started here in the next 5 or 6 weeks.
We're just moving through the summer.
I'll talk to him and see if we can get him to come on. But we thought, especially with this new staff on defense, it would be really good to get through that group first, which has been really fun. And now we've moved over. We had Fessy Satake a couple weeks ago, the passing game coordinator and receivers coach. And now we're going to have the running backs coach with us tonight.
Jonathan, welcome back from Henderson, Nevada. And Gerald is checking in from Fresno.
Yeah, let us know where you're coming from because we always love to see. And we've got some cool places now. We got folks down in Panama.
Philippines.
That have been coming on the Philippines. We had somebody from South Korea a few weeks ago. We know we got our good friends over in Japan.
Yeah.
Corey Yoshimura
in the
is
United
over there.
Kingdom. We like to it's like a big giant tree of BYU alumnus stuff. And so we certainly want to know where you're streaming with us. Tonight we're seeing stars. We got 2 big recruiting victories for BYU in football and women's basketball. One of them's going to join us live a bit later in the show. But, whenever you're seeing stars, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And you mean rating stars, right? Yeah. That's what you're referring to.
The big stars. The stars you want to see from the kids that are coming in. And so we got a big night ahead, and we're we haven't really had a newcomer on live.
It's gonna be pretty.
Just moments after all of that. And as we speak, Harvey Unga is coming in the door, and man, we're gonna have a fun conversation with him about running backs. But let's talk about a tight end, Reiner Swanson, 6'4", 220, 4-star, commits to BYU in the class of 2024. He chose the Cougars over Texas and Oregon. That was his final 3. Had offers from the likes of Stanford, Florida, Texas A&M, Washington, and Utah, among others. Laguna Beach, California is going to graduate early so he can get up here and enroll at BYU in January. He wants to go through spring practice and then go on his church mission.
Right.
But this is you got to get the best LDS talent at the LDS school to compete in the Big 12, and that's a big one.
And that's happening. And it's a 2-prong attack. And I've talked to Kalani a little bit about this and all the recruiting guys. You want to get the best LDS athletes from around the country out of high school, but you also, when you get those athletes that have gone someplace else in the past and they're not feeling like they're fitting in, but they're phenomenal athletes, to get them to come back to where they feel like they'll fit in. And so BYU in this transfer season, my goodness, has had an amazing transfer. They're up in these national transfer portal rankings to number 18. That's the 24/7 sports ranking. They signed 20 players out of the portal, including the likes of quarterback Keaton Slovis, running back Aiden Robbins, and offensive lineman Caleb Eddying out of Oklahoma State. These are all, big time players, and that's just to name a few. That's just tip of the iceberg. But how about BYU, kind of as NIL starts to flourish and be all over the place, and the transfer portal becomes part of the way to go. BYU's right there in the top 20 with a number 18 ranking for how they fared in the transfer portal this offseason.
It's interesting because the kids that come in the portal are kids that are coming to play. And so there's 20 of them. You can only play 22 starters. There's 22 starters, 11 on offense, 11 on defense.
Right. Well, and all the starters on special teams.
And you go second team as well. And this influx of 20, let's say all 20 are in the two deep. That's some major shuffling, which has been necessary heading into year one of the Big 12. I'm curious to see if it is a trend moving forward.
Well, I think that it's going to be part of recruiting moving forward, definitely. And but BYU is always going to live on those high school athletes that they can bring in and develop from the ground up and build into their roles over time, and then they're going to augment that and supplement that with the transfer portal. I think this was an unusual year as they're transitioning into the Big 12. Some players moved out as they're moving to the Big 12. That when the coaching staff had conversations with them about what their role is going to be, didn't like the fact that maybe they weren't going to be a starter or they were going to be a rotator. Some of those moved out, and BYU brought people in that can contribute right away. And we just mentioned a few, but all kinds on both sides of the ball, and they really beefed up this defense in the offseason with some guys they brought in that are absolute starters that are going to come in, along with the ones we just mentioned on the offensive side.
Should we bring in our headliner?
Let's do it.
He's here and ready to go. His daughter's got a birthday party, so we're going to get him out. Come on in, Harvey. Before Jamal Williams came around, our guest tonight was BYU's all-time leading rusher. He is a current running backs coach that currently has Williams, Tyson Williams, and Chris Brooks wrapping up NFL minicamps with their respective teams. Our pleasure to welcome back to the Wise Guys, and first time in studio, the great Harvey Unga. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, and the last time we had you via Zoom because logistically it just didn't work out. But when people come in, you're not allowed to tell anybody where this is, because we always call an undisclosed location, because we don't have very good security, and we don't want, we can't have the masses just coming up. And so you're
on the inside now.
You're one of the select few that knows where the secret studio. People know it's someplace in Provo, but that's all they know.
So, Harvey, the Saints just wrapped up their mini camp, and you had Jamal and Taysom together really for the first time in like 6 years. Both of them had really good things to say about each other. You were a grad assistant during their final year back in 2016. How eager are you to see those two play together again this fall?
I can't wait. Those two, one, the energy, obviously, those guys bring to the team, but the memories that I had, going into coaching and everything, those two are special. They're really special. And then to see them, back on the same team again, how cool is that?
And they're going to kind of run the same plays, aren't they? At the goal line, it's going to be the option read.
Yeah. You got two guys that did it at, the college level and did amazing with it. So now going into the NFL, I'm sure the chemistry's, they're not going to lose a beat.
And both of those guys, it's fun to have them together to push each other, because they have reputations as workhorses. Those guys work, both of them. Am I right about that?
No doubt. Two of the hardest workers for sure. And great leaders. That's the one thing I don't think people understand, how important that is for a team, even in the NFL. I think that's huge. When you have great leaders, it makes a world of a difference.
When you're teaching your running backs and they all want to go to the show, not everyone gets to go to the show. Some have phenomenal college careers, and for one reason or another, whether it's an ankle, a knee, or timing, it just doesn't work out. But you look at Jamal and Taysom. Did you have a feeling they were heading to greatness, or was it just like, you know what, you guys have all the skills, but you're going to need a little luck?
I'm biased, obviously. Any BYU guy I'm going to root for.
Right.
But I do believe there is that element of luck.
Yeah.
whether it's, injuries from other guys or I don't know, whatever it is. I do think there is that part of the game that some guys, they just get a lucky break and their careers take off and stuff, and others phenomenal college careers, but once they get there,
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same, and maybe another guy just happens to have a little bit more luck than they do, and it doesn't always work out the same. But for those two, it doesn't surprise me. Just like what you guys said, the work ethic they have, the type of people they are, the character, and it just, I don't know. I didn't have a doubt that those two would be phenomenal NFL players and have the careers that they're having.
It's interesting. Help people understand how freakish the talent is of Taysom. Because even NFL guys that I run into that weren't BYU guys, like, oh my gosh, he's a freak. What are they talking about when they say Taysom's a freak? Because when you're a freak in the NFL, you're really a freak, right?
Oh, yeah. You're amongst the, I guess 3% of collegiate athletes that actually make it to that level. But then for those guys, that little 3% of people that make it there, for them to say something like that about you, I mean, all those guys are there for a reason. Most of them are, I guess, the freaks on.
They're freaks in their own right, right?
Yeah, on their own teams. So then to go and do it at that level and to have the respect of not just your own teammates, but your opponents, like that says.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple guys and they're like, nobody that's that big and that strong is supposed to be able to run that fast. It's just not fair.
Or jump that.
Or
high,
jump that exactly.
Or move the way he does.
Hey, speaking of people speaking about you, hey Harvey, this is Spencer from Lubbock, Texas. My favorite running back of all time.
Spencer, I appreciate you, man. That means a lot. I appreciate it.
What impressed you the most last year? Jamal Williams' 17 rushing touchdowns, which broke Barry Sanders' record with the Lions, was the most in the NFL, or Tyler Allgeier's 1,000-yard rushing season as a rookie?
Man, that's tough. That's tough. And for me, I think it's hard because Barry Sanders is
Barry Sanders.
He's Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
So to do something like that, it's unbelievable. But at the same time, too, like, how many guys from BYU in particular had gone to the NFL in their rookie season and rushed for that many yards?
Yeah.
And he did it. I felt like it was like a half a season that he had done that. So I don't know. That's tough.
We'll go with Allgeier because you were his running backs coach.
I'll take it.
Let's go with that one.
Interesting that the Falcons, on the heels of Tyler going for 1,000 yards, they go and draft a running back in the first round. They draft right over the top of him. Did that surprise you, first off? And is there a role for two feature backs on an NFL team?
I think so. I definitely think that there's enough carries, especially in the NFL, for there to be two, sometimes even three guys. And as far as it surprising me, shocked the heck out of me. I'll be honest. I was not expecting that.
Yeah. Like, how about get a lineman or somebody that can help your running back?
Or to me, statistically, I'm looking like they were ranked last in sacks, last in tackle for losses in the last, I think, like 3 seasons. So to me, I'm like,
get some defense.
Yeah, get yourself a run stopper or a pass rusher or something like that. Like, you can. I mean, you found Tyler in what, the 5th round, and
they basically got first round production out of a 5th round draft pick. Count your blessings,
exactly,
and load up someplace else, right?
That was my thought process.
I only thought maybe they're going to unload Patterson because he's expensive, and then just go with the 2 guys. I don't know.
See, yeah, and I don't know either because now you got 2 rookies though, trying to run the room, and
you are the Falcons, so no one expects anything, right? You're the Falcons.
So yeah, I don't know. It was interesting to say the least.
We asked Fesi Sataki this same question when he was here on the Wise Guys last week. When the Big 12 schedule was released, where did your eyes go first? Who were you most interested in seeing that you were going to play?
The 2 teams that are leaving.
Yeah,
Oklahoma, Texas.
And were you were you stunned that Oklahoma was going to come to your football stadium?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm excited for it. I was definitely surprised. But those two games, I definitely was looking to see if we were going to be able to play them this season or not. And I mean, all the games that we get to play in this conference, like, I can't wait. It's an awesome conference, and we've got so many good opponents that we get to play against. But I think because of those two leaving, I was.
Yeah.
You wanted to get them in before they left.
Yeah.
Which is more exciting from a coach's perspective, and then also maybe tell us if it's different for a player, but to have Oklahoma come to your place in front of 65,000, or to go play at Texas in front of 100,000 plus. Which, from a coaching perspective, which is more exciting, and from a player's perspective, is it different or is it the same?
Man, I feel like it's the same, and I honestly couldn't choose.
They're both great.
Yeah, like they're both. I mean, to have Oklahoma come in here, like, that's a huge honor for us, and it's something that I dreamed about even playing. Like, I was hoping we get to play these types of teams in Lavelle Edwards Stadium, and so for them to come here, like, how cool is that? But then. You also, I mean, to go to Texas too, like, how cool is that? Like, we're, you know what I mean?
100,000 people. BYU's like plays really well there.
Yeah, and their fans, every Texas fan that was living a few years ago knows exactly who Taysom Hill and BYU are.
Right.
Because he just
and we remind them all the time.
Yeah, and Dave and I were there right on the sideline, right by where Taysom hurdled the guy. And that is emblazoned on the minds of Texas fans when BYU comes back in. And for some reason, these Texas fans feel like, I feel like if BYU gets going in that game, they're like, here we go again. BYU has our number. So that could
even
be
though
there's
not a kid on the roster from back then.
Right, exactly.
But the fans are all the same, right?
Right.
They're just like, hey, remember that one time? And it's like, and it would be fun if for just the first quarter, the Keaton went out wearing number 4 or number 7, just to bring the ghosts back. But Harvey Unga is with us, BYU's running back coach on the Wise Guys live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com all around the world. How do you feel about the running backs room as we sit now just 5 weeks before they show up for fall camp?
I'm excited. I love my room. It's been a huge blessing and honor to coach these guys and just to build the culture that we have in our room. It's been cool to see, because there's a few of the guys that came in had options to go other places, and I think because of the culture, that was one of the things that, you know, some of these new guys that are coming in, they reiterated that to me, like, you know, I love the room. I love the guys that you have in there, and the feeling that I got. And for me, I love that. It means a lot to me, because that was something that as much as I love BYU and I love, you know, the program and everything, as a player, that was the one thing that I missed the most, was the room that I was in, and the guys that I was in there with. The culture that you know, Fahu and Curtis and Fui and Manasseh and Joe and like a bunch of those guys built and created. It was I can't explain it, but
I was just going to ask Harvey, like, is this as deep as that room's ever been with talent? And then you just rattled off all of those names.
Maybe not.
And I was like, well, evidently not. Like, now I feel like it's a stupid question, so I'm not even going to ask it. But let's start with some of the guys individually. Aiden Robbins was a big get out of UNLV, 1,000-yard rusher last season, 2 years of eligibility remaining. When we talked to K-Pop about him, Kelly Papinga, he's like, oh, man, when we were going to go play those guys, we knew he was all they had. Like, he's like, that's what they've got. We just need to stop that guy. And so they went in with a defensive plan to stop him, and that was number one priority, and they didn't. He had like 130 yards rushing against them. So tell us a little bit about Aiden and what skill set he brings to that position for this fall.
Well, I don't know if you've seen him in person.
Yeah.
But he's a he's a good-looking guy.
He's jacked.
Yeah. I mean, and to be as tall as he is and as big as he is, he's actually got really good feet. Really nimble, quick, and deceivingly fast. But at the same time, it's been fun to watch him really like take ownership of the room and help lead and step in and be that kind of a role guy for the room and for the guys. It's cool to see because he actually has pretty good hands too. So to watch him like be able to get out in the backfield and if you throw him the ball out of the backfield, he's got good hands
and at 6'3", 230, if he's in the second and third level, that's a big advantage. You throw him the ball, and now you got a safety trying to bring him down. That's not an easy assignment for a safety, right?
Right. And like I said, honestly, I feel like he's deceivingly fast.
Yeah.
So for guys, I think they might take the wrong angle at him, or he's shifty enough that I believe he can make a few guys miss if he needs to. But at the same time, like you said, I don't think safeties are really excited to hit guys that are 230 plus pounds.
I can't imagine why they're
running downhill.
Well, who does he remind you of? That you've coached.
He reminds me a lot of Jamal, in the fact that he's a one cut downhill type guy, but really good vision, very cerebral. Like as far as the offense and everything goes, like it's cool to hear him. Like even in the spring, although he wasn't able to, go in for team and stuff, it was cool to listen to him actually coach up some of the younger guys and explain blocking schemes and helping them understand how certain plays work in our offense and stuff. And for me, I'm like, that's cool. Like the fact that he understands that speaks volumes of him and his preparation.
Keelan Marion was on Sports Nation today, did an interview with him. Fantastic kid.
He's awesome.
Can't wait to see him on the field. And he said Aiden was his number one recruiter because he knew him from back in Louisville.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
And reached out and said, you got to come here. And here's a guy who has hardly been here. But you had a relationship with Aiden back at Louisville even 3 years ago. Yeah. But it was interesting that that Robbins is like, hey, you want to be here because of how good it is.
Yeah, no, and I think part of that was having Aiden come here on his visit and stuff. I had Hinckley and Miles, host him and kind of gave him that vibe, the culture of our room and the team and everything like that. And Aiden had a lot of other schools that he could have gone to and other choices. And he actually took his visits after BYU to SC and some other schools. But it was that feeling, or I guess, the camaraderie and the brotherhood that he felt from Ropati and from Miles Davis and some of those other guys on the team that like, as nice as some of these other places might be, like I feel what these guys are talking about. Yeah. And I think because of Aiden feeling that way and now being here for a few months now, like he feels that, and it's hard to explain, but I think he gets it. He understands what BYU is about. He understands the culture we have on the team, and it's cool to see him promote that. Like,
yeah,
and it's not just coming from none of us are asking him to sit there and try to sell like this thing. Like I'm sure it's his own words, and he's, speaking from the heart.
He's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
We heard so much about Aiden because that was kind of an early signee, and everybody knew about him, and so he seemed to get a lot of attention, which is great and well deserved. Kind of flying under the radar, maybe a little bit, is Deion Smith, who comes from Colorado. I think he's not getting enough mention just because he came in a little later on the heels. But tell us a little bit about Deion. He's not the same size, 6 feet 190. Yeah. But 34 games at Colorado, 159 attempts, 653 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's very productive at Colorado in the Pac-12
when he was healthy.
Yeah, when healthy. So tell us about him and what role you see him playing.
So he's bulked up a little bit.
Oh,
So he's about 205, between 205 210.
Really?
So he's put on some good weight. But he's definitely a change of pace guy. He's one of those kind of guys you can put him in space, and if we want him to run routes, he can run routes. If we want to have him out of the backfield doing that kind of stuff, he's that kind of guy. But he's a speedster. He's definitely got some speed and some giddy up to him. So it's fun to see that, just change of pace. But I think very similar to Aiden, super smart kid. Like in the short time that we've been able to have him come out and do workouts and everything, and kind of get the offense down, he's actually picked it up a lot faster than I anticipated.
Really?
So it's cool to see that, because he's he told me this on the visit, that he went through numerous coordinators.
yeah.
So he's been through a lot of offenses. He understands a lot of different blocking schemes, a lot of different protection schemes, a lot of different run schemes. And as far as he's concerned, he's like, Coach, it's just your terminology. He's like, I run what you guys run. He's like, I know what you guys are doing. I can draw it up on the board for you if you need me to. It's just we named it this, this, and this for these different coordinators. But
And you got 1 year out of him, right? Does he have one, or does he have two?
He actually has
Oh,
two.
wow. So you got those guys both for 2. It's interesting, Harvey. When you go through multiple coordinators, everybody's starting fresh every year. When you go to get a new coordinator, everybody's starting fresh.
Yeah.
You guys have run consistently the same stuff for the last several years. And so you've got guys, and you mentioned Miles Davis and Hinckley, who've been in the system, that can help these guys learn because they know exactly what's expected and how to do it, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And it's been cool to see, because those, you would think, I guess, having that kind of competition in the room and stuff, the guys may be like, do I want to help this guy or whatever?
Right.
But it's been awesome. Like the as much as Miles and Hinckley have been helping these other guys out, like it's cool to see. Like they're pushing each other, and that's all I've asked them to do. I'm like, hey, look, just compete. Like I want you guys to help elevate this room more than it's ever been. Like I want you guys to push these new guys, and hopefully I'm praying these new guys are just going to push you even more.
Yeah.
To compete, and at the end of the day, like it's only going to make us better.
Can any of these guys return kicks?
Yeah, actually, we've got a little experimentation we got going on. But
Popinga was here and he was talking about Rapati.
he loves.
Yeah,
it.
because we keep saying like, punt's a different deal. A punt,
Right.
I don't think anybody's ever done it better than my guy Vi Sikahema, right?
Yeah.
And Vi's not. And this is no secret. Vi's not blazingly fast. Vi always used to
Shifty.
say, Vi always used to say, most important thing is just catch every punt.
Yeah.
You gain a lot
for
of yards
sure.
by just catching every punt. So you got to get to every ball and catch it.
Yeah.
He goes, then the next thing is you just got to make the first guy miss and get to a seam. And for that, you need quickness. You don't need to go run by people. But kickoffs are different.
It's different.
And we've been wanting somebody with just, like you mentioned, Deion's really like somebody's just hit that crease and just go like Adam Hine did back
Right.
a few years ago. So I'm wondering if so it sounds like you guys are working on some stuff.
Yeah, we've got a couple guys in the room. I mean, Hinckley is definitely one of those guys. We feel he's got a good chance to be that kind of guy. Miles Davis,
Yeah.
another one. Deion.
Yeah.
And then who knows? I got LJ coming up too. So
That's right.
Let's talk
Talk
about
about LJ a little bit.
This is a freshman kid coming out of El Paso, 6'2",
Yeah.
205, ran for over 2,100 yards and 23 touchdowns last year in
What?
high
In
school.
1 year?
5A MVP, and we're talking about Texas football.
Yeah.
How good is he, and is he good enough to get carries in September?
That's tough, because he's coming into a room with some depth.
Yeah.
And he's coming into a room where some of these older guys, they've played at the highest level
Right.
against some of the best competition and have been productive at that. So
But what does he
Can he
got?
do it?
What does he got that you were attracted to?
shoot, everything.
Really?
I mean, the guys, as far as athleticism goes, like he's pretty dang athletic. Like the kid is very smooth when he runs. big enough that obviously, you know, if he needs to put his shoulder down and get a couple extra yards, he can. And surprisingly, he can catch the ball great out of the backfield as well. So to do those things and be a bigger back, I'm excited for him. I'm excited to, you know, get my hands on him and kind of see where we're at, and hopefully.
Is he here yet?
Hour and a half.
Is he coming
so
today?
he's coming
So,
tonight.
Yeah, he's driving. Yeah, he and his folks are driving up. Yeah, they're driving up tonight, and
Fantastic.
yeah, they're. I actually just got a picture from his parents where they were at the Utah borderline where the sign says "Welcome to Utah."
No
Wow.
He's
So
on his
you'll get
way.
him in individual workouts. You actually get to be around guys, and so your first time with him on the field could be later in the week.
Yeah, he'll come in, get all of his paperwork done and everything like that, physicals and all that, and then start rolling
Big piece
with
of the future
guys.
arriving tonight.
Yeah, one of our listeners, Linda Murray, who's always with us every week, she just goes, "It's been great seeing our recruits so impressed with the coaches and their visits, and our current players helping recruit the new recruits. That Texas kid sounds great." So everybody's getting excited about your conversation and your talk about culture and these kids wanting to be here, because that's what it really takes.
Yeah, definitely.
We got a few more minutes with you before we're going to get you to a birthday party, and we're going to hit you up for the 5 best running backs of all time. In that room, let's quickly hit Rapati, Davis, and Mayava Peters. What do you expect for Rapati in the Big 12?
Hopefully he doesn't skip a beat from last season where he ended it. He did some amazing things that latter half of the season. Showed us that he has the ability to take the top off and go for the big yards and the big runs and make some home runs. But we also, I think the Boise State game definitely helped out. You know, I know they were a couple screens and stuff here and there, but he's able to catch the ball out of the backfield and he does a really good job in space. Understands how to set up his blocks and really set up his run out in the open field and stuff. So it's cool to see him. And
It was good to see him get some confidence with his ball security as well, because I know that was a question early in his career. It's like, man, can we put him out there and really take care of the ball? But he proved himself a bit last year by not putting the ball on the ground, right?
Yep. He definitely worked on that all season and knew if he wanted to get on the field, that was number one for him, to just take care of that, and everything else will, take care of itself. So
What was your biggest assignment for Miles Davis in the offseason? He ran really hard, really well early, got hurt, and that was it. And we always thought, man, he's fast, but he could use a few more pounds to take the beating.
Yeah.
Back he comes. Where's he at? What do you expect?
He's definitely put on a little bit of weight, but good weight.
Mm-hmm.
He's more muscular, but at the same time, I think for Miles, he's new to the position.
Right.
You're converting a guy who's been out in the open space his whole career, and then trying to transition to bring him back in the backfield. It's tough, but he has the work ethic for sure. But at the same time, he shows the ability, and there's a few games we had where he showed glimpses of it. So
Wyoming, he was too fast for Wyoming.
yeah. No, he definitely showcased that. And for me, I think a lot of it is him just being super confident in the playbook. Because I know he knows the wide out stuff and he understands all that. But from the running back perspective, I challenged him to just really, really get in the playbook, understand what he's doing, so he's not gonna have to think and just really get out there and run. Let loose and do what he did against Wyoming and not look back. So,
and when you say he's got to understand where he's supposed to be and what he's supposed to do, but also for you, Harvey, I know you've got to look at, does this guy know everything we're doing? If our quarterback checks out into a pass, is our quarterback going to get killed because this guy doesn't know who he's supposed to block?
Right.
They have to know it all, and you have to trust him before you can stick him out there, right?
yeah, yep, most definitely. And that's something that in the spring he definitely showcased that. As far as the pass protection and everything goes and the scheme of that, he did awesome. I was really proud of him, because it's not a super easy protection scheme to get, and for him to actually come out there and not have any MAs or anything like that in the spring, it was cool to see. I knew like he really took, you know, to heart what I was challenging him to do, and came out and showcased it and stuff. So I just got to keep him healthy.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, why is this guy not in the field? And I go, you know what? Haven't been to practice enough, but if he can't pass protect,
you can't be
on the field. And people are like, oh, I know, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. And Harvey was part of a long line of dudes that could really pass protect. Those names you mentioned, Fui and Manasseh and these guys, I mean, they prided themselves on hiding in behind the guard or the tackle. Here comes the safety or the backer on a blitz, thinks he's got a free rein to the quarterback, and then they step out, bam. Slobber knocker, mouthpiece flying out. And Harvey used to do that too. You guys took a lot of pride in that.
Oh, definitely. Lancer was, I mean, he's an O-line guy. So he always told us we were an extension of the O-line. So we took it to heart, and I mean, all of us loved it. But I guess it was easier when you're 240 plus pounds.
Right.
So it helps.
Yeah, those were some big dudes.
Mayava Peters was the quarterback in the bowl game, and that's where we saw his running ability. And now he's switched to running back. We were there the day he tweaked his knee in practice and was kind of shut down the rest of the way. What's his anticipated role?
So, sadly, he may not be with us this fall.
Okay.
Just a couple things he's trying to take care of off the field.
Gotcha.
So that's to be determined.
Okay.
Waiting to see.
If he does work his way back in, does he stay in the running back room? Could he go out and play slot? I mean, he's athletic. Yeah. He can play a lot of different things, right?
He can, and he showed us that in spring before he got hurt.
Yeah.
We utilized him in every way possible. I mean, he was in the backfield running the ball. We were able to motion him out into the field, and he actually was a really good route runner and has great hands. But with his running ability, and he's pretty fast, we started to implement him into the jet scheme and had him running some jets and stuff like that. So the kid can do a lot. He's he's super athletic and surprisingly like one of those guys that you don't have to sit there and coach over and over and over. Like, he'll go out there, if he messes up, he'll correct it, and then the next time he does it, it's exactly how you wanted it to be. And just one of those kind of guys. I don't know how to explain it, but
fast learner. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed that he can get things squared away and get back with the program.
Hey, what does Keaton Slovis bring to the running backs room? How is whatever he's got going to help your guys?
I mean, the guy he can sling the ball. It's a given. I mean, he's done it in the past, and even in the springtime, it was cool to see. Like, he's in. I mean, I've seen a lot of good quarterbacks, but he throws the ball just as good as any of them. And for us, like running backs, that helps us a ton, because if you can soften the defense and take the top off and let guys go or just, even just completing your intermediate routes and stuff like that, it definitely helps with the run game. Now you're not running into this 8-man box and guys aren't just stacking it. So I think with his ability that way, it'll definitely open up some run lanes and stuff. But surprisingly too, he's pretty athletic.
Yes, he is.
Like, he can move.
That was the thing I was most surprised when I saw him run around. I'm like, I didn't know that Keaton could run around like that. That's going to surprise some people, because they all saw him in that air raid offense at SC, where he's just catch and get it out. Yeah. But I actually, a couple times he took off and ran, and I thought, this could be a nice little thing that people don't know about.
Harvey Unga is with us on the Wise Guys. Glenn from the Philippines checking in, says, hey, Harvey, thanks for being on. Great to hear from you. Let's finish, and Blaine will run you through this, for your top 5 NFL running backs of all time. This from a running back who ran for 3,455 yards and 36 touchdowns at BYU. Also caught passes for 1,085 yards and 9 more touchdowns. So you're a perfect person to roll out who the best 5 running backs all time are in the NFL.
And do you want to go reverse order or from 1 through 5? What do you want to do? You want to start with your 5th and go to the first, or you want to go 1st through 5th?
First through fifth.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do that. Number 1 of all time.
Walter
Payton.
Sweetness. That's yeah.
Yeah, my old teammate Jim McMahon played with him, and
Yeah.
I'm convinced that Jim could have thrown for 4,000 yards a year, but he just kept tossing it backwards to Sweetness, which was a good
Yeah.
choice.
Is that who you wanted to be?
Honestly, there was so many running backs. Like growing up, my dad had me watch.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, it was weird. I actually played quarterback growing up.
At Timpview?
Well, no, not at Timview. Just as a kid.
When you were
Okay.
little,
like
Is it
middle
because you
school,
were big and
kid.
fast?
I think for whatever reason, being lefty, I don't know. Some guys I don't know if they just liked seeing guys throw with their left hand or something, but yeah, I mean, I grew up playing that, so I gravitated to a lot of the quarterbacks, but naturally Steve Young, who was also a good runner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, Dad definitely had me watch a bunch of.
So Peyton's number
and
1.
Harvey's dad's one of my goats.
I appreciate that.
He's the best. I love
He's a
him.
good dude.
So, okay, 1 is Walter. Who's 2?
Barry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Barry's, and that's hard too because 1
Yeah.
and 2 is tough.
That's
think
tough.
Yeah,
both
that's
those
a tough
guys
one.
are amazing.
So my old teammate Kurt Govea played against Barry, and he goes like that. He's the guy that the night before you're playing them, you just can't sleep because it's just like, oh no, like I'm gonna be in the open field and I'm not even gonna touch him. He goes, some guys don't want you to tackle him, other guys don't want you to touch him. Barry didn't want you to touch him.
Yeah,
His highlight films are amazing.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was. I mean,
And he was on a bad team.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Like,
crazy.
to do what he did
Oh,
with and not to knock on any of those guys blocking. I love every O lineman in the world, but it's unbelievable what he did and what he was able to do. And so yeah.
so
All right.
Walter, then Barry. Who's your 3?
This one was tough. It was kind of a tie, but I went with Jim Brown.
All right, Jim Brown, Cleveland Browns,
Yeah.
and he was a big dude and physical,
yeah,
and he was way
yeah.
ahead of his time.
Yeah. Just, I mean, the production he had, rushing yards and whatnot, and just the physicality, the way he played the game. Like, it was,
I'm sad that my old high school guy, Ernie Davis, didn't get to go play side by side with Jim because he passed away from leukemia after winning the Heisman Trophy at Syracuse. But for my high school, Jim Brown and Ernie Davis in the same backfield. Oh man,
that's
that never happened.
pretty good.
Never happened.
heck
But they
yeah.
both went to Syracuse and on to the Browns. So okay, Jim Brown's number 3. I like that. Can't argue with any of these. Number 4.
AP, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see which one of your buddies was the lead blocker for Adrian. Was it Manasseh?
Fahu.
Oh, it was Fahu.
Fahu,
That's right.
yeah.
Fahu was plowed the road for
When
Adrian.
he was
Yeah.
in his prime, he was fantastic.
Oh, unbelievable.
And who has an ACL reconstruction and comes back 6 months later and leads the league in rushing again?
Right.
That guy.
Yeah, I think he
That guy.
breaks the single season rushing record too. Like it, and I mean, for me, it was just seeing it in person. So when we're playing against him, like to watch him run the way he ran, like
Oh,
it
so
was
fun.
unbelievable. So
That's a great one.
I had to put him up there.
Who's going to make the last?
Who's going to be the last pair? I know there's a lot of great guys. Who's going to be 5?
Man, I'll be honest, I couldn't decide. For me, it was like a 4-way tie, 4-way tie, but I was gonna go with Marshall Falk.
Oh, I love that.
Not
And
Tony Dorsett, not Emmett Smith.
Well,
Marshall Faulk.
I'm Eric Dickerson.
Eric
Like, I mean,
Dickerson.
there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
Here's why I love Marshall. Marshall's one of the most complete backs that ever played.
For sure.
Because if you just loaded up the box, they'd throw him screens and get him downfield in the pass game. And he was so deadly, whether it was catching the ball in the backfield or run the ball. I think that's a great choice. Marshall's great.
It was hard because I think Delaney and Tomlinson.
Yeah, there's another one.
yeah.
I couldn't decide, and then Marshawn was the other.
Yeah,
But-
Marshawn.
Yeah,
All those
he's
great
decent.
guys.
Right? Like
There's so
but
many good ones.
Marshall, I thought had the edge. I mean,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
holds the record for receptions for running backs. I think he's like 6,000 yards receiving, and then I think he's the only back that's posted 1,000. Like
Yeah,
rushed for
I think
over
you're right.
1,000, caught for over 1,000. So.
He was a great one. We got to call some of his games in college, so we have a little soft spot for Marshall. We're not going to argue with that one. So,
Curling guy says, thanks, Harvey, for all your hard work. You make BYU great.
And then appreciate it.
Jay Bardsley 11 says, thanks for all you do, Harvey. My bro still talks about the good old days at Timpview playing with you.
Spencer, yeah.
Spencer.
And you know what?
And
Outside the echo chamber
Bo
goes, what about
Jackson.
Bo Jackson?
So he was the other guy.
He just
couldn't-
missed the list.
It was between those four that I couldn't decide. Because Bo, obviously, I mean, his career was cut short.
Yeah.
But
Man, he was good.
Yeah. When he was
Unbelievable.
in his peak, he was like one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Right.
Did you Stephen Marks said that his first BYU jersey was number 45?
no.
Yeah, he says, I'm so glad you got the running back coach's job. You can teach him how to
I
play.
appreciate
And that's
that.
Steve from Olympia, Washington. So
Mike
Like
Just Me
thanks,
with us
yeah.
from Beaumont, Texas. Everyone chiming in. Harvey, wish your daughter a happy birthday for us.
I appreciate it.
yeah.
It was actually Makai's.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah, my son's. But
Oh, Makai is your
he's-
son's.
Yeah.
Okay.
My daughter's is actually in a week.
so
Okay,
yeah.
well, tell her happy birthday
I
coming
will.
up, and then
I
tell
was gonna
Makai
say,
that
tell
we didn't
Makai
think
that
it was hers
we gotta
today.
you gotta get you out here and get to the birthday party.
I
We
appreciate you guys.
we love the job you're doing there, and sounds like that running back room is deep. Maybe not as deep as Fahu, Manasseh, Fui, and the guy right here, all in the same running back room. That's something special. That's a bunch of NFL guys right there.
Yeah.
But this one's stacking up to be pretty awesome.
I love this group. I love this group. I'm excited to see, how these guys handle business and stuff. And it was random, but I actually saw Chris Brooks today. too.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's cool, like for a guy like him to come back to
Right.
BYU and to work out and make this is home for him. He feels like
That's
that's why
good.
he's coming back and training and stuff. Like I
And
want
he's-
guys to feel like that.
He's going to Dolphins camp, right?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. He just got in from Miami on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday night. So it's cool to see that. Like I hope these guys feel that bond and that camaraderie that they want to come back and.
Wayne Robbins told us that he's here because you put guys in the NFL.
yep. That helps, right? So,
yeah.
So I want to, and this last thing as you're heading to the birthday party, can you take credit for going to the defense when you got in this role and saying, give us Tyler back. We need Tyler Algier back over here. Like, what in the world is he doing over playing linebacker? We need him over here. Was that you?
I can't take credit. Honestly, Kalani was a big factor in that. He saw what I saw, and I'm just glad he did too. Because at first I wasn't sure if I was gonna get fired or not for having Tyler come over or whatnot. But Kalani, I think he saw it from the get go, and he felt like Tyler would definitely be a guy, and so I give credit to Kalani. That's
Wise man.
No.
Give credit to
Because
Kalani.
Kalani had the clout to back him up. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, word has it that this guy wanted that guy back on offense, and that was a great recognition of
The
talent.
Atlanta Falcons, thank you
Yes.
for all that. And
We
so
all
does,
thank you.
so
We all
does
thank
Tyler
you.
and his family.
Yeah.
Harvey, thank you. We'll see you at practice here just around the corner.
Just
No,
not
it's
that
coming
long.
up.
So,
coming up soon. I appreciate you guys.
all right.
Thank
Thanks,
you. The great
Harvey.
Harvey Unga, outstanding running backs coach and running back when he was at BYU and with us on the Wise Guys. So he's going to slide out. Next week, Sherry Dew is going to slide in here, the Executive Vice President of Deseret Management Corporation, the CEO of Deseret Book, one of the world's largest BYU fans. And so we look forward to having Sherry Dew with us next week. In July, Lee Camard's committed for the 11th. Mitch Matthews will be here on the 18th. And we're working on some big names as we march closer to the big month of August when everything starts back up for real. Right here on the Wise Guys.
Wait, did I tell you, I was at a thing with Sherry. Well, Steve Young's award thing
Yeah,
Sherry was at, and I visited with her for a while. And she is so, I was telling her how pumped we are to have her on the show, and she's just downplaying it like it's not that big of a deal. She's very humble. It's a big deal to get Sherry Dew
It sure
to
is.
come and join us. And she's
written more books, but
she really is the biggest BYU fan there is.
I think so. I think
she lives up to that. That we're not just hyping it.
She's coming down from Salt Lake to hang with us.
We're so pumped for that
So
show.
that's next week on the Wise Guys. We've got a special guest coming up here in just a little bit that we're excited about. But now that Harvey's slipped out of the door, let's discuss who we might think are the 5 greatest running backs in BYU history. We couldn't really take this on when he was right here.
No, but he obviously he's in that 5.
Right, but we're going to go 5-1.
Okay.
And so let us know if you agree. And it's not all just, hey, who had the most numbers? We had to think about, hey, look, who are the guys you feared the most? When healthy, would just run right over you. And I'll tell you what, the decision between 1 and 2 is debatable.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
It really is, because, and we'll talk about it when we get to 2 and 1. So here we go.
So let's say number 5, and I put a little list together, and you've had a chance to look at it, and so we might even not agree on it as well. But I put Tyler Algier at number 5, single season record, 36 touchdowns on the ground. 2,904 career yards.
Maybe the greatest single play we've ever seen anybody make, and it wasn't even running the ball.
And that should get him in the top 5.
Just for that effort of punching out the interception, and basically that's the play that won the game against Arizona State in that magical season. But we put Tyler at 5 with 2,904 total yards. And maybe had he played all 4 years at running back,
it'd be up higher.
It'd be different.
Yeah. He had a shot at Harvey's and Jamal's records.
And he certainly had the best rookie season of any NFL running back ever.
Yeah.
That came out of
From
BYU, right?
You bet.
And so that says something, but it's not about that. I mean, if we're going to pick the greatest quarterback in BYU history, and we base it on the NFL, like, it's a no contest.
You got to have some other stuff.
It's a no contest. It's Steve Young, right? Because he's a Hall of Famer, no question.
But then you start looking at the yards and you go,
if I do my top quarterbacks in the history of BYU and we just base it on their college time,
you got Jim McMahon.
I still think Jim McMahon's the greatest college quarterback ever. I really do. And Ty won the Heisman Trophy, and then
Max won 32 games.
And so it's like, I would put Steve at 3 in college, but he's the greatest quarterback. And if we take overall, he's the greatest quarterback in BYU history.
All right, well, let's stay on the running backs, because maybe we'll take that on.
Yeah, we'll do that one a different day, because that's a tougher one, actually. So number 4, and here's the interesting thing. Let's see.
Inside center with us from Houston, Texas.
You know what?
Welcome.
We got to get some of these guys on the show.
Yeah. Curtis Brown we've had on the show.
I was just thinking that because Curtis Brown is number 4, 3,221 yards, 27 touchdowns, and wasn't Curtis number 1 all-time? Was he the all-time leading rusher when he left?
They were all, it seems, know.
So Curtis he had the record until Harvey broke it, right?
Yeah, and then Harvey had the record until Jamal broke it, and for a while there, Staley had it back in the day.
And I thought Curtis broke Luke's. So anyhow, we're going to go with Tyler at 5, Curtis at 4. Curtis was a complete back. And one of the great representatives of all time for BYU. To this day, he still is, but we've had CB. He was affectionately called CB, Curtis Brown, by everybody. And
hanging out in Fresno.
Boy, he was special, and BYU won a lot of games when CB was lining up at running back.
So things get a little tighter in the top 3. We've got Harvey at number 3. We mentioned his 45 total touchdowns and 3,455 yards. And Harvey left with a year to play, right?
Right. If Harvey stays another year, I think he's the all-time leading rusher in BYU history.
He was a beast. But then we get to the 1-2, and I went back and forth.
These are hard. So, and you know how Harvey said at number 5 he's got like a 4-way tie? We've got like a 3-way tie at 1A, 1B, 1C. We choose to put Luke Staley at number 2.
A loose number 2.
And the reason we're doing that is because we're gonna give the all-time leading rusher number 1.
Yeah, I think you have to.
So that's clearly, and not only that, but he's just been such an unbelievable representative while he was here and continues to be. But Luke Staley, you know how we talk about Taysom Hill as a freak?
Yeah, he was a freak.
Luke Staley's the biggest freak that's ever played running back here when it comes to just pure physical skills.
When he was healthy, he was unstoppable.
Nobody that big is supposed to be a world-class sprinter.
And when does a BYU running back win the Doak Walker Award as the best running back in the country?
And so you could make an argument that the Doak Walker Award winner should be number 1.
Yeah, so that's why we
we
went
don't even know.
that.
So we it's loosely 1 and 2 or 2 and 1 or 1 and 1. That one's tough. BYU was playing San Diego State. Ted Tollner, who had been our quarterback coach here, was the head coach of San Diego State at the time. I was standing down at the end zone before the game, and BYU was warming up in that end zone. And he looked distracted, like he wasn't really paying attention. And my back was to the field, and Coach Tollner was looking at the field. And I go, "What are you looking at?" And he goes, Have you ever seen calves like that guy right there ever in your life? And he was looking at Luke Staley's calves.
John Robinson told us the same thing.
He was mesmerized by it, right? And John was like, that guy's just Luke Staley, when you got down inside the 10-yard line, I think is one of the most difficult running backs to stop from getting a touchdown in the history of college football. And remember, he led the nation in scoring, which is always a kicker, right?
Yeah.
That year he won the Doak Walker Award because he was a touchdown machine. So Luke was phenomenal. 2,493 yards, 1,582 in 2001, 41 touchdowns. Unbelievable that season.
So maybe we go loose because we got Jamal at number 1, 3,901 yards, program record. He ran for 286. Remember calling that game against Toledo, single game record. 35 touchdowns, 1 touchdown catch, so that's 36 total for Jamal Williams. And I should mention
that year that Luke led the nation, he had 41 rushing touchdowns. He had 48 total touchdowns. That's crazy. It's
interesting here because you look at Algier, and he left with 2 years of eligibility remaining. Harvey left a year on the table. Staley was great when he was healthy, but he dealt with things. Jamal was solid, but remember, he left for a year and then came back and finished the job, earned his degree, and set the record. But he left for a year to work out some off-the-field issues. And came back. So none of them just had, 4 straight years of glory, go get some yards, which is kind of like life. No one gets to just skip through life. And the top running backs at BYU all had to overcome stuff.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I love Jamal so much is for the fact that he came back.
Yeah.
When he had been successful and everybody, and I'm talking everybody, was interested in telling Jamal, oh, forget BYU. They hold you to a standard that's way too high off the field. You do whatever you want here. Come here. And I'm talking everybody.
Yeah.
USC, you name it. And I respect Jamal. I respect Jamal's folks. His mom came right out and said, no, he made a commitment. He knew what he was getting into. He's coming back. And Jamal came back and finished what he started. That, to me, that says a lot about the character of Jamal. And he's never stopped representing the Y.
No, loves it.
He's always wearing BYU gear and talking about BYU.
And he's at his peak now in the NFL after leading the league in touchdowns.
Yep.
Empty Skull watching from Hawaii. Thank you for watching the Wise Guys. So here's
we know that you're just, that's self-depreciating because we know your skull's not empty.
Yeah. But you are in Hawaii, so congratulations. Yeah. Now let's throw another dilemma of a question here. And with Jamal Willis, we'll give honorable mention because he's right there too. But where does Taysom Hill factor in? He's number 6 all-time in rushing. Let's not even talk about passing.
From the quarterback spot.
1,344 yards. Ran for 259 against Texas. We all remember that. 32 total touchdowns. Remember, Jamal rushed for 35. Taysom rushed for 32. Where does Taysom fit in the top 5 rushers of all time?
He's right up there in the top 10, I think.
How about that?
If Taysom Hill played running back full-time, he might be the all-time leading rusher in BYU history.
And get 25 carries a night? Got the same kind of carries these guys got? Where would he be?
If Taysom Hill ran the old Oklahoma offense when Barry Switzer was there and they ran the wishbone, he would have been unstoppable. Unstoppable.
For sure.
He's unstoppable in the NFL. So, we throw Taysom Hill as our honorable mention, even though he played quarterback.
As I was looking at this list, I sat there and there he is. I'm like, wait.
Taysom Hill.
You type up top running backs in BYU history or yards and pop, there he is.
He's
and you're
right
like,
there.
That's just.
And Taysom struggled with injuries throughout his career.
Yeah.
All these guys had something. So.
All right. So there you go. Our 5 greatest running backs in BYU history. And then we'll see where these new guys come as Harvey talked about them there a moment ago. Some key dates. We got some big dates. Every day we get closer. And now July 1 is 11 days out.
Yeah, and on July, what happens July 1? Well, a couple of things happen July 1. The most important thing is BYU joins the Big 12. And you and I are going to be over there part of this big Big 12 party, right?
Yes, we are.
It's going to go from 3 till 6 p.m. At the Student-Athlete Building practice field. It's going to be a huge fan fest and celebration of the official entry into the Big 12. We're going to be there with BYU TV, and we're going to do a live show from that fan festival and that party from 3 to 5. So come out and join us and be there. And if you can't be there, join us and watch us on the show.
Big 12 Media Days coming up July 12th and 13th.
I forgot to mention the other thing. It's Stadium of Fire.
Yeah. It's going to be one giant Big 12 party.
It's a big day because Dave not only has to come co-host that show with all of us, then he can't stick around for the party. But like, if you're going to be there, come talk to me because I'll stick around and hang out with you till 6. Dave has to run. I mean, they may helicopter him over. That's how important he is. But he's going to have to run over to the stadium because he's got to co-MC Stadium of Fire that night with Journey in the whole game.
Yeah, so it's going to be awesome. Let's hope for great weather and a spectacular
Anna
day.
just says, pipes in and says, Stadium of Fire is so slay.
Yes, it is.
So sorry to go regress, but July 1st, the other big thing is Stadium of Fire that night. Now we can go to July 12th and 13th.
And then we got Big 12 Media Days then. NFL training camps for rookies.
My sister Kelly's birthday is the 12th. Let's not forget that.
On the 12th, Kelly, happy birthday. Training camps July 18th. After further review, 5 weeks from tonight, back on BYU TV on July 25th. Players show up July 31st, camp August 1st, and then we're engaged. Let me tell you what just happened a moment ago in Raymond, Alberta. 4-star guard Delaney Gibb just announced her commitment to Amber Whiting's basketball program at BYU. She's the number 2 player in Canada, the whole country, choosing the Cougars over a whole bunch of Power 5 programs. And we're going to visit with her live here in just a few minutes. She's got a big party going on at her house. She's going to move over to the computer. We'll Zoom with her and we'll talk about her. But credit to Amber Whiting, now has assembled 3 4-star players in her first 1.5 recruiting classes, which has never happened in the history of the BYU women's basketball program.
If they were going to compete in that league, that's what they're going to have to do. And so far, so good for Amber Whiting. And you know, Amber's been on the show a couple times. I loved having Amber and Amari on the show with us together a few weeks ago, and that was a great dynamic. You can tell that Amari's going to be a big-time leader and one of the top recruits in the country coming out. Amber Whiting is stocking up the talent in a big way, and this is a big addition to that in next year's class. So
we're standing by for Delaney Gibb out of her home in Raymond, Alberta, to join Wise Guys Live here in just a second. Before we do, let's go over a couple of things. What in the world is happening with San Diego State? They let the Mountain West Conference know we intend to leave. The Mountain West goes, okay, that means you're leaving. They're like, well, no, we might not leave. We'd like a 30-day extension to save us a lot of money. Could you do that for us?
Can we wait and see? And the conference said, nope.
No, and why would the conference say, sure? You know, you want to. I know we're married, but if you want to look around and see if there's somebody better, just go ahead. And so now San Diego State are they out? Did they get kicked out of the league or what? Because the Pac-12 hasn't invited them. The Big 12 hasn't officially invited them. Maybe something goes down on June 30th.
Obviously, you don't ask for an extension unless you're pretty certain you're going to one place or another.
Yeah, you better be.
Right. Well, now they've got to be.
Yeah, because now they're not getting the extension.
Well, and here's the thing. Did they just lose some leverage?
It feels like
with the Pac-12 and the Big 12, did they just lose some leverage?
It feels like they lost everything. So here's the thing. June 30th, if they declare by June 30th, their exit fee is $16.5 million. If it's after June 30th, it goes to $34 million. That's why they wanted the extension, because they might not get invited by June 30th, but maybe on, say, July 1st or July 2nd or whatever. And so they're like, hey, we'd like the extension. And now the worry is, well, what if they don't get invited at all by either the Pac-12 or the Big 12, and look what they've done to their home league?
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing. Like, where are they going now?
Yeah.
They're going to the Pac-12 or the Big 12. And the issue you have is it seems like the Pac-12 is the natural fit for them. And I think the Pac would like them to be part of that group that replaces Oregon and Washington. But the Pac-12, as we sit here, still doesn't have a media deal.
No, they're not. They're not.
And you got places like Colorado and Arizona going. You have Utah up the road saying, let's give you a statement of solidarity. We're not going anywhere, and we're all together on this. And they got Colorado and Arizona going, we're going to look at the TV deal and see how it is, and if it's good, we're not going anywhere. but they're not. Oh, we're in this for the long haul. And there's even some talk that Colorado's got 1 foot out.
Yeah,
and going back to the
June
Big 12.
30th is a big day because it seems like July 1's when all these things kick in. Like, well, if you're going to leave now, it's double.
Right.
Like what San Diego State has had revealed to them, and who knows?
I thought San Diego State would be a great addition. If Utah's dead set on staying in the Pac, and some teams start to defect, why not go? Because remember, the Big 12 is the best college basketball conference in the country. And San Diego State, hey, let's talk about the last 15 years. They're the best college basketball program in the West.
Right.
I mean, they've been more consistently good than a lot of names that you think of that you would think would be better. Yeah. In California, who's been better than San Diego State in California? Not USC. UCLA's been really good again lately, but if we go back 15, 20 years, San Diego State's been more consistent than anybody. Yeah,
when we like their coach.
Yeah.
We're all for a relation, and they play BYU every year. They're not afraid of BYU, but now
Brian Dutcher's a phenomenal coach. They're a brand program in basketball. They've been pretty solid in football. They've been ranked on and off the last couple of years. Brady Hoke is the head coach there. I mean, I would love to see San Diego State in the Big 12. Yeah. I think that's still up in the air, though.
Yeah, so who knows what's going to happen? But that's the mess now that San Diego State is in.
Outside the echo chambers, like his state, Pac is a mess. Yes, that's true.
Yes, that's true.
And says that'd be crazy to turn down the Big 12. So yeah, it's crazy. And hey, Mike, just me. I think we answered your question. You asked how much of the July 1st fanfare will be on BYU TV. The fanfare is 3 to 6. We'll cover it from 3 to 5, and then from 5 to 6, we're all just gonna. Hey, if you're there, come talk to us. We're just going to visit with folks for that last hour.
What's not a mess is opening weekend in the Big 12.
Yeah,
listen to this lineup.
How fun is this?
You wake up Saturday morning and you go, okay.
Yeah, we're not talking about opening. We're talking about opening weekend of Big 12
conference
which
play.
Is September 23rd. 6 conference games on the ledger for that day.
BYU at Kansas, Texas at Baylor, Oklahoma at Cincinnati, Oklahoma State at Iowa State, Central Florida at Kansas State, Texas Tech at West Virginia. There is not an insignificant game on that slate
is the
for
best
BYU.
Game? I was looking at this earlier. What do you think is the best? I like the Oklahoma at Cincinnati game.
Yeah, or Texas at Baylor. There's so much pressure on Texas. It's Baylor's last shot at beating the Horns before the Horns leave.
Baylor's got a lot of guys coming back.
And then, of course, BYU and Kansas. It's we still don't know what time that's going to be. But
it's a resurgent Kansas. They were much better last year. Yeah, this isn't your grandfather's Kansas, or maybe your grandfather's Kansas was good. This isn't your dad's Kansas.
Well, now a BYU fan wakes up and all of those games matter.
Yeah, every game.
It's not just who do we play in the independent and that's that. It's I got 6 games to track because you know what? We either played one of them or we're about to play someone else.
And think about it. It's been a while. Like the last conference title BYU won was the Pac-12 title 2 years ago or 3 years ago. That's the last conference title, the Pac-12 title when they went 5-1 in the Pac-12.
Speaking of Texas and Oklahoma.
Is that wrong to say that?
Since we were together last, the SEC announced their 2024 schedule.
Right.
Home and away. And it's interesting because it took Texas and Oklahoma to leave for BYU to get in the Big 12. So there's no reason for us to have animosity towards those schools.
No.
We needed them to go for us to get in. But look at what they are getting, and there's a reason why. These two went to the SEC.
Welcome to the SEC.
Texas for their home games.
Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, and Mississippi State.
Those guys are coming to where BYU will be on October 28th. And then their away games at Texas A&M, the reunion of one of the great rivalries. Arkansas, where BYU will be. Vanderbilt, and they'll play Oklahoma and Dallas. And then you look at the Sooners and their first taste of the SEC.
How about home? Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Texas. Alabama and Tennessee were top 5 teams last year.
And you get them in Norman. You got to feel happy about that.
Yeah, and then you got to go on the road and play at Auburn, at LSU. That's not a fun place to play. Missouri and Ole Miss.
Yeah, so, hey, best of luck to those two. We don't wish them luck this year, although we do like Steve Sarkisian, head coach of Texas.
Yeah.
But as they go to the SEC, more power to them.
Yeah.
They're there, and BYU's in the Big 12 because they're there. And now let's see how it all plays out. The XFL had the rookie draft over the weekend. A couple of Cougars are going to get paid to play football, and isn't that the dream of every Division I athlete?
Hey, you're getting paid, and it's not the NFL, but, hey, you're getting paid. I heard today, or you know what? It was yesterday. I was talking to Lorenzo. And by the way, XFL rookie draft, Peyton Wilgar, Linebacker Peyton Wilgar picked up by the Seattle Sea Dragons.
Okay.
Don't know what a sea dragon is. I know what a seahorse is.
Right up there with the Kraken.
But they're just little, but it's a sea dragon. And hey, I was just in Croatia, so I saw some dragons.
Yeah, that's where they live.
In Dubrovnik. That's how you say it, by the way. And then Lorenzo Fautea, defensive lineman, was drafted by the Vegas Vipers. And I ran into Lorenzo yesterday working out and trying to get my sea legs back. What am I trying to get back?
Well, you had a long flight, so you're trying to get those legs back.
I had the longest Father's Day of anybody because I was chasing time coming from Croatia back to here. So my Father's Day was 30 hours long.
I hope it was full of gifts.
It was so wonderful. But Lorenzo told me that Neil's back in Boston playing in the Arena League. Neil Powell.
We've got a few Cougars out there.
Yeah, so there's some guys out there making some money doing some things.
Good for them.
So, hey, it's a league that pays, and congratulations to Peyton and Lorenzo.
Former Cougar Mike Leach, remember he graduated from BYU. Right. He's going into the Texas Tech Hall of Fame on September 29th, posthumously, as he passed away last December of a heart attack. Coached the Red Raiders from 2000 to 2009, won 84 games. And 1983 graduate from BYU in American Studies. His offense changed the game. And now, as you look around college football, and even in the NFL, everyone's looking for the spread. They're looking to pass, and run only when you have to. And all of that goes back to Mike Leach.
Yep, absolutely. And congratulations to Mike's family. It's such a cool thing. Think about like 81, 82, that time frame, 82 especially.
Yeah.
So in 82, Mike's out there working with quarterbacks, volunteer, working with Lavelle and learning what he can. You also got Mike Holmgren and Andy Reid working with us. Mike Holmgren, Andy Reid, and Mike Leach working with quarterbacks. Did we really have any talent, or were we just great coaches?
That's the right place to be at school. Also in the Texas Tech Hall of Fame, Lloyd Hill, Keanu Hill's father. Lloyd's going to be here in Provo on our game day set when the Red Raiders come to Provo on October 21st. Speaking of coming to Provo, a few minutes ago, four-star guard Delaney Gibb announced her commitment to Amber Whiting's basketball program at BYU, choosing the Cougars over just about everybody. A 5'10 superstar from Raymond, Alberta, heralded as among the best young Canadian players in the country. ESPN ranks her number 48 among the top 100. She's number 2 in all of Canada for her age group. I've seen her play. She's got a gift for the game. She'll play her senior year in Canada and join the Cougars for year 2 in the Big 12. And Delaney joins us live from Alberta at her big announcement party. And there she is. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Way to go. Way to make a great choice, Delaney. Congratulations. We're a little biased, but we think you made a great choice. Tell us why you chose BYU.
Honestly, I went on visits basically everywhere, and BYU just felt like home to me. I have cousins and grandparents that went to BYU, and really, I just felt comfortable there and felt like it's somewhere where I can be great.
You are familiar with Provo. You played your freshman year at Timpview, just down the road from us, even though we call our show at an undisclosed location.
Yeah, but he keeps giving it away, Delaney. Like, people are going to start coming here because he's giving away our site.
But look, as a freshman, your first team All-State, is that when you thought to yourself, hey, you know what, I'm going places with basketball?
Honestly, yeah, for sure. When I was younger, I just played to have fun. Like, I just really enjoyed playing basketball. But I think that that year, my freshman year, and then leading into like spring ball and AAU was when I really like decided like this is what I want to do. Like, I want to be really good, and things kind of just took off from there.
You know, in one season at the helm, Amber Whiting pulled together the highest recruiting class in program history. This last year's recruiting class, remarkable. You're the headliner now for the second class. For her second class, coming in for this 24-25 season. What did you see in Amber Whiting and her staff that can help her and help you further develop your game?
I really love Amber. I think she's a great coach, and she's super hardworking, and she pushes every athlete to do the same. And yeah, I think she's doing something special. She's changing the program, getting great recruits to come. And so, yeah, I'm just super excited.
Tell us about your game. What is it about Delaney Gibb that has her among the most sought-after Canadian basketball players in the entire country?
Honestly, I'm a point guard, but I can score the ball really well. So I think that's what kind of puts me apart from other athletes. Yeah.
So Delaney, when you say you can score, are you a triple threat? Can you put it on the floor and take it to the rack? Do you have a mid-range game? Can you step back and knock down threes, or just all of it? Can you do all of that?
Yeah, I would say I can pretty much do it all. I think I definitely have the best, like I would say I'm the better, how do I want to say this? Like I shoot the three the most. So I shoot the three from deep, which allows me to then attack, because defenders have to come up on me, and then gives me space to attack and create from there.
Well, I watched you play when you came down and beat my niece over there at American Fork, and you have a fun game. Delaney Gibbs on the Wise Guys. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com around the world tonight. Earlier in the hour, she announced her commitment to come play basketball at BYU. What do you think of competing in the Big 12?
I'm super excited. I think to be in a Power 5 conference and to be one of the first years, not the first, but one of the first years coming in as a freshman to be able to play in this conference. I'm excited to really make a mark and prove ourselves.
Hey, how happy are your folks, Alan and Tanya, about you coming to BYU? Were they happy with that decision, and how much of a role did they play in helping you make that decision?
Yeah, they're both super happy. They definitely had an impact, but I think the choice was mine, so they were just there more for support.
Well, your dad's been your coach, right?
Yeah.
For all of your high school career. Is he a good coach? Is he nice to you? Does he say shoot whenever you want, or what, how does he mold your game?
He's a bit of a yeller, so he might get into it a little bit, but yeah, he's been really great. He's been super supportive of me, and yeah, I mean, I shoot the ball a lot, and he's okay with it. So.
That's a nice dad.
So when do you have the green light? Is he like, and I don't know, are you old enough to remember when Jimmer Fredette was playing on the men's team here at BYU? Are you familiar with Jimmer at all?
Yeah.
Jimmer used to tell us he had the green light when he got off the bus. He's allowed to shoot from the minute he got off the bus. Where was your dad comfortable with giving you the green light? Like just as soon as you cross half court, yep, whatever you want to do, Delaney, is that the way it goes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Man, that's awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it.
A lot of us are told not to shoot ever. But
I tell Dave to stick to free throws and layups, but that's...
Hey, what is your basketball plan for the next 12 months before you get here?
So I'm hoping to be on the U19 Canadian national team, where we'll be in Spain this July for the FIBA World Cup. And then after that, I plan on playing high school in Raymond again, trying to go for provincial champ number 3.
Nice.
And then after that, just getting ready to be a Coug.
So what about representing your country at the Olympics? Is that something you want to do in 2028? Is that a goal that you have down the road? And tell us about that.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that? You cut out a bit.
Oh yeah, so why is that so important to you to be on that 2028 Olympic team?
For me, I just think that representing my country is one of the coolest experiences ever. And not only my country, but I get to represent Raymond as a town and Alberta as a province, and so it just brings me like a lot of pride to be able to do that.
Well, Delaney, I've been your Aunt Sharon's home teacher since 2012, so the whole neighborhood is celebrating your decision to come to Provo. Nice job.
Thank you.
We're proud of you. We look forward to getting to know you and following your career here. And now, of course, we feel like we're tied to the Raymond, Alberta High School basketball program for the next season. We're going to have to watch it closely. And when you're down here, we'll get you, when you're down here officially a Cougar, we'll get you on the show. Only you can come in studio with us and do it right.
Okay.
Delaney Gibb, congratulations on your commitment to BYU. We'll see you soon. Have a wonderful time over the summer in Spain. Now you represent BYU wherever you go. Remember that. Now it's a little bit more than than your high school. But hey, it's a pleasure to have you with us, and go enjoy the rest of the night. We'll see you soon.
Yep, and keep grinding and keep working.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Delaney Gibb, and I had a visit with her dad today, and they're just so stoked. The parents didn't go to BYU, but so many of the Gibb family have. Right. Grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, and it was a tough get. You know, she was a highly sought after player, and you go on you go onto YouTube, you see Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Gonzaga, Utah went heavy after her. BYU was in the mix all along, and in the end BYU wins. Delaney Gibb.
And these, I mean, when you look at what Amber is assembling, so Amari is, you know, she's similar skill set too, right? So Amari's 5'10", 5'11", great handle, you know, ball handler, great shooter. She's a slasher, can attack, and now you put Delaney out on the court.
And you got Jenna Asai, who transfers from Oregon, who's a 4-star.
Same kind of, you know, lot of long, athletic, really skilled athletes that can play and can compete in that league. It's going to be fun. They're going to be young this year and next year,
but young and
talented.
Good
young. There's a difference between young and we got to develop, and yeah, we're really young, but we're really talented. That's a different story. So it's going to be fun to watch.
The crowd will come. She gets to play at the Marriott Center, and every game's on TV now as a member of the Big 12, and that's cool. Plus, it's a Wise Guys first.
That's right. We got to break story.
Commit.
You had a little inside because of your home teaching assignment.
I wished it was that, but
no, it wasn't that.
But it's been fun to watch. You just mentioned it. What Amber Whiting is building, and building so quickly, and we've had Lauren Gustin here on the show to get Gustin back.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Remember that's the nation's leading rebounder.
That was as big a recruiting coup as anything.
Yeah.
To get. Because Lauren Gustin, and we talked to Amber and Amari about Lauren, and they're just like, she's a game changer inside. She's going to go get every rebound. Yeah. And she's capable. She was the nation's leading rebounder. She's capable of doing that in the Big 12. She's that good. And when you're getting offensive putbacks and doing all of that, that's a big impact. And her presence inside has a big impact on how, you know, these great athletes on the outside are going to be able to roam.
So let's do the math here. So Delaney gets here in 24, 25.
Right.
You got 25, 26, 26, 27.
She's together with Amari during that whole time.
And the Olympics are 28.
Right.
Wouldn't that be cool? She finishes up her senior year or before it. Maybe it's even before
it might be the summer of her senior season that she's playing in the Olympics.
The medal, and Cougar fans are going to go nuts.
It'll be fun.
Like Jimmer Mania, if Jimmer gets over to the 3-on-3 next year, we'll have Delaney Mania at some point.
And she's going to be a fan favorite. You see that big smile on Delaney? She's going to be great down here at BYU.
She's so excited to be a Coug. That's great. A couple other notes on campus. Speaking of athletes that have come and been spectacular, Alicia May Mateo, she's going to compete in the U.S. Women's Open July 6th through the 9th over at Pebble Beach. 5-year starter at BYU. She graduated from the Marriott School of Business with a Master of Accountancy degree, and she's going to be among the field of 150 at the U.S. Open. And Carrie Roberts, the head coach, will be on the bag.
How about her caddy is going to be Carrie? That's a great caddy to have. And yeah, congratulations. What a great senior year for Alicia, and an opportunity to play amongst, 150 of the best players in the world, really.
And you get on TV.
And you're at Pebble Beach. Yeah. That's one of my favorites. Have you played Pebble?
No, just seen it on TV. But Carrie Roberts said that's her favorite course of
when
everywhere.
We were asking Carrie, she said Pebble was number one. Yeah. I just said that when you just go play it as a normal human being, it's too slow because there's so many people playing it. That doesn't diminish what a phenomenal golf course it is. It is an amazing golf course. We need to go. I need to take you over and go.
You
play.
really do.
So,
baseball news, postseason awards keep coming for Austin Deming. Every week we announce a new award. The senior third baseman has been named third-team All-American by the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association. The top 20 collegiate players in the country in that group, and that's fantastic for Austin Deming. This next little bit's going to go with women's volleyball. Let's talk about Michael Rucker for a second.
Yeah, Michael Rucker, who's been on the show with us right? The lone cougar.
Of course he has, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? One of my favorite stories in this first year of the show was Michael talking to us about being pulled out of the bullpen just in time to pitch to Aaron Judge with the bases loaded.
At Yankee Stadium.
That's
awesome.
Stadium. If you haven't heard that, you need to go back to the website, ysguys.com, find the Michael Rucker interview, and just listen. If nothing else, go listen to his mindset, what he was telling himself, his strategy, and what he did when he faced out of the bullpen Aaron Judge in Yankee Stadium, bases loaded.
Yeah.
And I think it was the 9th inning.
Yeah, ysguys.com. You can find that.
Yeah, go find that. But anyhow, Michael, the lone cougar right now in the major leagues, retired all 6 batters he faced last night as the Cubs beat Pittsburgh for their 8th win in 10 games. They're charging up the standings in the National League Central. That's your team.
I'm watching the game, and he strikes out the last guy to end the game, and I send him a text going, hey, fantastic, 6 up, 6 down. It's fun to see the team winning. 5 minutes later, he texts back, oh, it's so much fun to win. And I'm thinking to myself, did you just go right to your locker, pick up your phone, and start texting everybody?
Isn't that crazy?
And the world's that small. But Michael Rucker is pitching well, and the Cubs are playing good, and he's happy, and that makes us happy. Yeah. Women's volleyball, Kate Pryor and Erin Livingston been named to the USA Volleyball Collegiate National Team. BYU head coach Heather Olmstead, an assistant coach to that group. That is the group, 20 of the top collegiate players in the country, and they get to train alongside the USA Women's National Team. They're doing that this week in Anaheim.
Yeah,
they don't get to go
cool
play
stuff.
games or whatever, but you get a week of one. You get to be named to the team, which is cool, and then you get to practice against the best, and be around Coach Karai and all that experience this week.
Yeah, that's great stuff. That's really cool. And Heather, she's always representing BYU, considered one of the best volleyball coaches in the game, which is really cool. So, hey, we want to remind you about movie night.
Yeah.
And are you going to go to this one this week?
I might.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I might take the grandkids if we'll have to figure it out. But it's this Friday night, 9 p.m. at Lavelle Edwards Stadium.
At Lavelle Edwards Stadium.
On that gigantic multi-million-dollar Jumbotron, which got great clarity. I don't know how many pixels it is, but it looks great up there. Remember the Titans. And how many of our guests in this first year of the show have said remember the Titans as their...
Quite a few.
Quite a few guests have that as their number one. Admission is free. Concession stands are going to be open, so you can go get some. I'm certain they're going to
nachos
get
and
nachos,
drinks.
popcorn.
That's not free. Yeah. Maybe a Cougar tail.
Yeah. Bring the kids. Bring a blanket. Stretch out on the field and watch the show. Sounds like a pretty cool Friday night thing to do with your kids and create some memories in Lavelle Edwards Stadium.
I might go out on the balcony with the binoculars and watch the show because I can see that screen from the house.
The one thing I'm still doing in Lavelle Edwards Stadium to do family memories is killing me.
Yeah, you got to find a new memory.
Yeah, no, because
a new memory maker.
Yeah, because you know what it is. Every year, the week before the opener, Gavin, our son that coaches on the coaching staff at BYU, coaches the safeties and works with Jay Hill. He feels like we need to go touch every step in the stadium. So we run. I kind of run /jog /walk. Gavin runs the whole thing, and we go up and down every single stair in that stadium the week of the opener.
Now maybe you should replace it with bringing a blanket and laying it down on the field and watching a movie.
To me, that would be a better memory because I hurt for like a week after.
You won't hurt after this.
Although I was thinking maybe we should have some type of a contest where people get to come because you can't just go in and run the stadium, right?
No.
You got to have some friends.
But you can't just go in and watch the movie.
Yeah, you can do that. But maybe we should have a contest as we get closer to that to give people the right to come run those steps with us. You think anybody would actually want to do that?
I think they would sign up.
Are there crazy people that come run the step, every step, touch every step in the stadium with Gavin and I? We'll think about that.
Let's think about that.
Let us know if you'd want to do that with us.
Here's something else that's unique. Sunday night is a devotional at the Marriott Center at 6 o'clock, live on BYU TV. The speakers, Coach Kalani Satake, defensive end Tyler Batty, Chase Roberts, receiver Olivia Katoa, and Whitney Bauer.
That's cool.
That's the lineup for a devotional on BYU TV Sunday night at the Marriott Center, 6 o'clock.
So either be at the Marriott Center and catch it live, or if you can't watch it on BYU TV at 6 o'clock on Sunday night.
I'd like to see them do that more often. That's
6
outstanding.
Mountain Time. Yeah, it'll be fun. Lots of good stuff this weekend. Remember the Titans Friday night, great devotional, Sunday night in the Marriott Center. So,
and then a week from Saturday, we're in the Big 12.
Yeah, and come to the Fan Fest from
Come to the
3
Fan Fest.
from 3 to 6 on the Student Athlete Building, the SAB Fields.
And if you can't come to the Fan Fest, watch BYU TV because we'll be live from 3 to 5
Mountain Time.
Yeah.
We'll cover it live for you. We'll talk about all things Big 12, and we'll cover it all for you. So.
Let's wrap things up with on this day, June 20th. And you might be surprised that there are some days where lots of things went down, and there are other days where nothing goes down. This is a day where there was a lot going down.
Big stuff.
Over history, and we're going to tackle it for just a couple minutes.
1782. Let's go all the way back to 1782.
Okay.
Congress approves the Great Seal of the United States with the bald eagle as its symbol.
That happened today.
Yeah, this day in 1782.
And that's when the bald eagle became, the national bird.
Right. June 20th was a big day.
On this day in 1840, Samuel Morse patents the telegraph. Where would we be without that?
Was he the Morse code guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what did it morph into?
Yeah.
we
Yeah, now we got these things.
got these things.
Can't get away from anybody at this point.
No.
In 1863 on this day, West Virginia became the 35th state admitted to the Union. Hey, and let's not forget BYU's at West Virginia on November 4th this fall.
That's right. That's a big.
And we've been there before, but we didn't get to go to campus because remember that last time BYU played back there, it was a so-called neutral site field. They played in, was it RFK State? I can't remember what it was called, but
Yeah.
that was fun. That's where that's where you and I met Brad Paisley's dad.
Yeah, and I texted him Happy Father's Day, and he texted right back.
That's awesome.
They're big West Virginia fans. Maybe we'll see them.
Hopefully we'll get to see him when we're back there.
I hope when West Virginia comes here, Brad Paisley comes and plays the national anthem.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
We'll take
see.
care.
We know some guys.
If they come out, we know some guys that can get them some good seats. And I think they probably know some guys too.
On this day in 1867, Andrew Johnson, the president, announces the purchase of Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. 600,000 square miles for less than 2 cents an acre. By today's standard, it would cost about $151 million.
So $151 million. They didn't know about the gold or oil, did they? They didn't
must
know
not.
about the gold or oil, or they wouldn't have sold it.
Hey, in 1863, I don't know what technology was like, but there was oil under those rocks.
But that gold and that oil was there in Alaska. So
that's how we got Alaska today.
How about 1963? The United States and Russia agree to set up a hotline.
A hotline. So remember, things were kind of tense back then.
Right.
And it's like, so they said, you know what, let's set up, it's like a bully line or whatever. Let's a hotline where we pick it up and you pick it up. No one else can pick it up because no one else matters.
Right. We're just going to talk to each other.
We can yell,
Let's just talk this
we can
out.
yell at each other. I'm going to shoot those. No, you're not.
Was 63 when the Cuban Missile Crisis was going
Right
on?
around that area.
Right around that time. Well, that was
JFK.
Yeah.
The hotline was set up today.
Right before that.
I wonder what they have now. They just go online, talk to each other,
Bat phone.
Zoom.
They have the bat phone.
The bat phone. 1966 on this day, Billy Casper erases a 7-shot deficit on the final 9 holes of the U.S. Open to force a next-day playoff against the legendary Arnold Palmer, and Casper beat him on the extra day by 4 shots to win the Open.
Billy Casper, one of the greatest golfers in the history of the game and one of the greatest human beings I've ever known.
Yep.
Yeah. We went, and I run into Billy's wife once in a while. Billy Casper, I love Billy Casper, one of the all-time greats, but more importantly, one of the greatest people I've ever known.
Mm-hmm.
So, how about 1975? Jaws is released in U.S. theaters.
Yeah, I don't love this day because of that. Because
Scare the heck out of you?
my dad and my uncle Stan, we went to see Jaws. 2 grown men and me. I was 10. And it was just me and the shark. And you know what? I didn't have a good experience. And when Jaws is on TV, you know what I do? I just keep going.
You don't even stop?
I don't even stop. I don't need that.
It's intense.
I was mortified.
But when you go back and watch it now, it's just like, hey, for the day, the special effects were good, but
yeah, it's all the
by
music.
today's
It's
standards,
the suspense created by the music of like, well, what if that was me out there swimming? I don't know what's going on down there. You can't see under the water.
What was
in the
that
ocean.
movie? Was it the Meg? The Megalodon?
I didn't see that either.
You know
any
what?
Shark Tank movie takes me back to Jaws.
I usually don't like to pick people apart on this, but I would say don't go see the Meg.
I wasn't even 10. I was 8 as I'm looking at this.
Don't go see the Meg. So, how about 1993?
Okay. I was watching this.
Yeah, the Bulls beat Danny Ainge, Charles Barkley, and the Suns to become the first NBA team to three-peat in over 3 decades. Michael Jordan earns MVP honors for the 3rd straight year.
There's a lot of threes in that.
Yeah.
Jordan was and is the best. It's just,
there's
just better.
I can't remember that stat we were reading a couple weeks ago. You and I were talking about it, where He's the only player in history to win the Defensive Player of the Year or be all defensive first team, the MVP of the regular season, and the playoff MVP, and the scoring leader in the same year. And he's the only one to ever do that, whatever that is. And he did it multiple times.
Yeah, he was the best.
Let's just stop with anybody else, okay?
And then I heard he's selling the Bobcats for making like billions of dollars from his initial investment.
Yep.
Nice job. Birthdays on this day, June 20th. Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, 1942.
Wouldn't it be nice to? Yeah, there you go.
And
Brian
how about
Wilson.
this next one?
Yeah, 1949, Lionel Richie.
You know, what's your favorite Lionel Richie song? I like All Night Long.
You're like, all night long.
Yeah, that just has a cool
All
beat.
night.
But he's got a bunch of them.
Oh, I'm trying to think my
And
favorite.
he, he's in there with the Commodores too, back earlier before
Did
he
he
went
do
solo.
Still, I will love you still? I don't know.
I don't know.
He's got so many.
But in 1967 on this day, Nicole Kidman, Keith Urban's wife, was, and we're big Keith Urban fans, so that's Keith Urban's wife. If we are Nicole Kidman fans, we would say that is Nicole Kidman is married to Keith Urban. Keith Urban wouldn't be the headlining part.
Right.
But we really like Keith Urban.
Right.
And so he happens to be the spouse of Nicole Kidman, who's having a birthday today.
And you and I had a blast at the Keith Urban concert in
the
Vegas.
best.
So and we got to give a nod to your buddy that wrote a bunch of Keith Urban songs.
Oh yeah, Monty Powell.
Yeah. Because
Monty
he's the one
Powell.
that got us those phenomenal tickets at that
Yes,
show
he
in
did.
Vegas.
Yes, he did.
So a little shout out to Monty because that's cool. And he wrote some of Keith Urban's best songs. I like Nicole Kidman too.
Yeah.
She's got a different look, but I like it. She's like tall.
She seems nice.
She's tall. She seems nice. You know, she got that tall, pasty white look,
Yeah.
which is different. So
She's taller than Keith Urban. He doesn't
she's
even
actually
mind.
she's a really good actress. So
Yeah.
she's been in some good stuff. So we like them both. Okay, 1979. Cale Sanderson, wrestler who was born in Provo. He's a 4-time Big 12 and NCAA champion at Iowa State. Olympic gold medalist in 2004 in Athens, Greece. He's the current wrestling coach at Penn State. 1979, June 20th. That's
How
his
about
birthday.
that? Happy birthday.
Cale Sanderson, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time from right here in Utah.
A couple of notable.
Did he go to Wasatch? I think he went to Wasatch.
Yeah, he went to Wasatch.
Yeah, Wasatch's got quite a wrestling
The
program.
Wasatch Wasps.
Yeah.
Up there. Is it right? The Wasp, right?
Yeah, I think
Is that the Wasatch one?
Who's the Bees? That's the Box Elders, the Bees.
Box Elder Bees.
And Wasatch is the Wasps.
Juab is the. I thought Juab's the Wasp. What's Wasatch? I thought they were the Wasps. Anyway, Wasatch High School.
Wasatch High School, very good wrestling program to this day. So
A couple of notable deaths on this day. 1947, Bugsy Siegel.
Vegas
Put
fame.
Vegas on the map for the other reasons that the Mormon pioneers put Vegas on the map.
Right.
So two
All-
groups
all
put them
the
on the
bad
map.
stuff.
All the bad stuff came from Bugsy. Vegas is more Bugsy today
Yes, it is.
than anything else. And so,
Remember when Vegas had that experience when they were going to try to be a family town?
yeah, they nearly went
Yeah,
bankrupt.
it didn't work very well.
It didn't work for them. That's not their thing.
Yeah, their thing is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's more their thing.
They go, hey, family together this time. Let's scrap that with no one will know what you did here.
That's right.
And so there they are.
Yep.
Now they have
So-
everything, including Formula One. I don't know if Bugsy Siegel envisioned Formula One rolling down the Las Vegas Strip, but it's coming this fall.
Yeah.
How about this next one?
Yeah. Leroy Neiman. Remember that he did all those. I think his most famous paintings are of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Right.
But any sports thing that
Any
was going
sports
on.
image that was big, Leroy
did it.
Neiman did that, and Leroy Neiman, 2012, passed away. So,
All right, wise
hey,
guys.
I'm going to go back to the chat here just for one second. So, Leif Arrhenius says, "That's my cousin." Is he talking about
Delaney Gibb?
Delaney?
It maybe is. That's when
And
it
you know,
popped up.
Leif, the whole Arrhenius family, like phenomenal track and field athletes, disc and shot and all of that. First
Well, it
of all,
makes
I
sense.
think that's, yeah.
It would make sense because
If
Delaney's
she's related to the Arrhenius family, she's got some serious athletes in the track and field, and of course the great Anders Arrhenius, who's a great coach and technician and a great shot putter and discus thrower in his own right. So good friend.
Our wise guys inspirational quote of the week comes from Charles Barkley. And if you listen closely as Blaine reads this, there's a lesson
There's
in there
some stuff
somewhere.
in here. There's some stuff in here.
Yeah,
We
you got to
might-
peel back a few layers.
We might have to help folks with it because it is Chuck. So, these are my shoes. They're good shoes. They won't make you rich like me, They won't make you rebound like me. They definitely won't make you handsome like me. They'll only make you have shoes like me. That's it.
That's a guy who doesn't want to be a role
I used
model.
to say I'm not a role model.
Yeah.
Like, these shoes will not do any of that. But they'll make you have shoes like me, and that's it.
So our wise guy's translation of that is you can't buy happiness. Happiness is a byproduct of how you live your life. You can't buy Charles shoes and be Charles.
Right.
Although many of us tried to be like Mike when we bought Air Jordans.
Yeah. I have brand new Air Jordans to this day.
Yeah.
But I'm still not like Mike.
No one's like Mike.
So-
And no one's like Charles. Charles has a free pass to say whatever is on his mind.
He can say whatever he wants, and nobody ever gets
But like,
upset.
that's Charles. It's like,
Yeah.
there's only a few people that ever get that kind of access.
It must be nice to have that.
Yeah.
To be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
Says whatever he wants. So
It's like,
and you know what? A lot of his stuff's right on the money too.
it is. It is.
So-
He goes right through a
Yep.
lot of the smoke and says,
Yep.
here's what's going on.
So hey, Forrest Gump out here asks us how many days to Sam Houston, calling from Houston. He's from Houston. Wants to know how many days till Sam Houston.
September 2.
Yeah, September 2nd. It's coming.
So that's 2 plus 31 is 33 plus 11, 10?
Yeah.
43 days. That's
Yep.
what we're coming up with
So-
on the fly.
And Linda Murray. We'll end with Linda Murray saying she loves Charles Barkley quotes.
We had a great show tonight. Thank Harvey Unga for being here in studio. We thank Delaney Gibb for letting us participate with her on her big night up in Canada, announcing that she's going to play basketball at BYU. She's the number 2 player in the country of Canada coming to Provo.
Yep, and going to play on the U19 national team and has her eyes set on playing the Olympics representing Canada in 2028.
This is a different kind of player that BYU just got, and it's going to fit into a team of different kind of players that Amber Whiting has recruited, and man, the marquee sports going into the Big 12 are always football. That's where the money is. Men's basketball. That's where it's the toughest league in the country. But BYU and all these other sports are putting together teams that can go compete and win right away in the Big 12. And basketball may take a couple of years. As Texas is defending national champion on the women's side, they're good. They're one more year, but they leave.
Yep.
Oklahoma leaves, and the Cougs can pounce right up there and go, hey, you know what? We're in the upper echelon. This is where we plan to stay.
Pretty fun stuff.
But you know what? We go back to the thing we started with. For BYU to be competitive at the Big 12 moving forward, they got to, and we've heard every head coach say it, got to get the best LDS talent here. And in the last week, they get the tight end from Laguna Beach, 4-star, turned down Texas and who was it, Georgia or somebody, and then Delaney tonight, who turned down just about everybody. And the tight end, his name skips me, so I'm going to go right back to it. Reiner's his first name, but the tight end's going to go on his mission. Reiner Swanson, apologize for that. He's going to go on his mission and then be back. But man, that's what you got to get.
Yep.
Right? You got to get it, and BYU's starting to get it. I would be thrilled if I was the head coach.
And they're doing a great job of creating a culture where they can get the top LDS athletes, and then they augment that with great character kids that are not LDS that come on campus.
Like Aiden Robbins.
And remember what Aiden said? What Harvey said, Aiden got recruited by all the big time. He's a 1,000-yard rusher last year.
He's 6'3", 230.
Yeah. And what did Harvey say the deciding factor was? He loved the culture. He loved the room that he was in. He loved the guys that BYU's assembled. And so they've got to do both of those things to be competitive in the Big 12. They got to corner the market on the top LDS athletes. Then they need to go out and find kids who value the culture and will feel like they fit in and will go out and play hard and represent. And they can do this.
And with football, if you have a portal to the NFL, that trumps the college football NIL.
Yeah. Hey,
portal.
we'll give you this. Well, you know what? Our guys go play in the NFL and get drafted.
And we want that.
Yeah.
We'll give you what you need here. I want that.
Back-to-back running backs and back-to-back quarterbacks now drafted.
And think about, Dax Milne, and then fast forward a year, and you got Puka Nacua at the receiver spot. And then you've got Brady Christensen on the line.
Yep.
And now you've got Blake Freeland on the line.
Back-to-back offensive tackles.
And it's like, that's the portal everyone wants.
That's what you want. So,
hey, the podcast will be up tomorrow. Share it with your friends. Please go to our YouTube. Just search Wise Guys and subscribe for
ysguys.com.
free. That'll help us build the show. And
Yep.
this show's going places, and especially after nights like this. This was a good one.
Great night. And hey, next week, I'm pumped. Sherry Dew's in the house.
Sherry Dew. And if you don't know who Sherry Dew is, your assignment between now and then
Do a little
is
research.
to go to Google and Google
Just
Sherry
Google
Dew,
Sherry
and
Dew.
then just go, oh, she does
Yeah,
a
you go,
lot.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, and she's one of the most enthusiastic BYU fans we've ever met. She'll be sitting right there
Yep.
And taking your questions too. So we love this show, and the guests that come on have a good time, and we have a good time. We hope you have a good time, and look for that podcast tomorrow. Blaine Fowler, Dave McCann, the Wise Guys, have an outstanding week. And when we see you next week, we'll be all that much closer to joining the Big 12.
We'll be there, and we'll see you next Tuesday.